And that's a wrap. The regular season of Contenders Korea Season 2 has concluded, largely predictably, though perhaps with one minor upset, and a bunch of really exciting narratives going into the playoffs that start this week. But before we look ahead to the playoffs, let's look back on the last week of the regular season to see who got there and how. We were back to the full 4-day week that kicked off on the 25th, with Metabellum assertively booking their playoff spot with a 4-0 win against WGS. WGS managed to reclaim some of their pride with a 3-1 win against Blossom, but it wasn't enough to get them in the playoffs. Former champs X6 struggled with a 3-1 loss to Kongdu Panthera, and Runaway finished their regular season with a clean 4-0 against Metabellum. In Group B, the Foxes stayed consistent in their struggle by opening this week on a 0-3 loss to MVP Space. O2 Ardiant and GC Busan Wave had a close matchup on day 2, with O2 coming out on top 3-2. And the Foxes managed to get their first win in their last game of the season, beating fellow Trials Bound 7 3-1. And Group B finished on the strangest note with a scoreline no one quite saw coming. MVP Space managed to beat Element Mystic 4-0 in the last matchup of Season 2. Which means we finally have our 8 playoff spots locked in. WGS and Blossom will be retreading familiar steps back to the trials for Season 3, but this is the first relegation for Seven and the Foxes, who made the quarterfinals last season. That means Kongdu Panthera, O2 Ardiant, Metabellum, Runaway, X6 and Element Mystic are all returning to the playoffs, with GC Busan and MVP Space joining them for the first time. This is where it gets exciting, because history has shown us that literally anything could happen from this point on. This time last season, O2 Ardiant did the unthinkable and knocked out a previously undefeated Element Mystic, so who knows what's on the cards? We'll find out soon enough as it all kicks off tomorrow at 7 PM KST. Time is short and time differences are cruel, so if you only have a limited amount of time to catch up, be sure to watch last week's highlight matchup of GC Busan Wave versus O2 Ardiant and X6 versus Kongdu Panthera. It's difficult to pick and choose which playoff matches to watch since they're all so predictable at this point, but it'd be definitely worth your while to see if last season's finalist O2 Ardiant can make it against a Metabellum lineup that is considerably stronger this season. Also, X6 versus Element Mystic is bound to be a close one as our defending champions take on the team who were everyone's favourites to win it in the first place. One of these frontrunners will be out, but both have stumbled rather unexpectedly in the past, so who knows how this one will turn out. If you were wondering why Bumper was suddenly subbed out of Game 3 in Runaway's match against Metabellum last week, then we have answers, and it has nothing to do with 4D chess, unfortunately. Runaway posted a statement on Twitter stating that Bumper is in fact injured. He could not continue to play with his wrist pain and was subbed out for treatment before the series concluded. What this means going forward for the playoffs is unknown, but we've all got our fingers crossed that he'll be back to form ASAP. And WGS are headed back to the trials for Season 3 and have a few things to work out in the meantime as they took to Twitter to announce some roster departures. Flex player Really and support player Hiley's contracts with the org expired and the two have left the team. Expect to see a subsequent recruitment notice in the coming weeks. And that's it today. If you haven't already, be sure to check out our video on everyone's favourite pink-clad team, Runaway. We also have an article in the works about the top 10 reasons you should be watching Contenders Korea. And as always, if you want more Korean gaming news, be sure to check out our full video on our YouTube channel. See you next week.